I also chuckled a little bit. I also kind of groaned a little bit when Wolfgang says, "I'll show you furry power." I don't know if I want to see that. What's up, Ranger fans? My name is Robbie. You're watching Geek Level Asian, and yes, that's right. I've posted, I think, 3 videos in a row now because I'm trying to catch up on the Dino Fury news. Today we're going to talk about the mid-season finale, which is episode 8. Just so you guys know, it's going to be spoiler heavy, and this episode just came out. When I post this, it'll be 2 days ago. Came out on Saturday morning. So if you haven't seen it, again, I'm going to be talking about the ending because this is a theory video. They left us with 2 cliffhangers, and I'm going to be talking about those things. But first, I'll talk about a few other things. But first, let's talk about the episode itself. I'm going to break this video up into categories. We're going to do the overall plot, Monster of the Week, the Mecha overview, things I thought were funny, and then at the end, my 2 theories. One of them is kind of obvious, but we'll call it a theory anyway. Before we begin, don't forget to like this video. It helps me out and helps other Power Rangers fans out to see this video in their feed and get a notification. So let's do it, guys. It's morphin' time. Let's talk about the overall plot. So now that they've introduced the main team and we've found all the Zords, we can now move on with the story. And that was very clear in this episode. I feel like not just the tone, but the story took a critical shift. A big jump forward in this episode, especially because it's a mid-season finale. So in a nutshell, Kelson Henderson has returned to the show and is reprising his role as Mechanic from Power Rangers Ninja Steel. He arrives in the Dino Fury universe and lets them know that he is looking for the Nexus Prism. They're always chasing this Nexus Prism. And if you haven't watched Power Rangers Ninja Steel, it's basically where the Ninja Steel team got their powers from. And I'm gonna be totally honest, I thought the Nexus Prism itself was a lame, lazy plot device, but they explained it more a little bit in Dino Fury, and now I'm just kind of like, still don't like it, but tell me more. Like, it's still like a very random thing, but like, okay, go on. For some weird reason, when Mick arrives, Zato's the only one who very, very clearly does not trust him, which I thought was odd when it comes to who he is as a character and who they built him up to be. Because if you think about it, he literally accepted a bunch of strangers onto his team that he trusts with his life. Like, if you back up and you look at episode 1, he woke up from a multi-million year nap, and there's intruders in his home who are playing with his toys, and he's just gonna accept them. And not just accept them into his home, accept them as Rangers and team members, and then these other 2 random people, these other 2 randos come, find the other 2 keys, and he accepts them too. Yet the guy who has more wisdom than any of them has been involved with multiple Ranger teams and was a Red Ranger himself. No, don't trust that guy. Yeah, let's question that guy. But this obviously takes a turn when Zato does find the Nexus Prism and he uses his antenna. They creepily come out, and he uses his mind-reading ability to read the mind of the Nexus Prism, and he sees the history of the Nexus Prism and how the Morphin Masters made it. They're really bringing in the whole Boom Studios Morphin Masters thing, and I saw some stuff online about how Hasbro's like really incorporating like the entire, you know, the entirety of the franchise. I don't know how I feel about the Morphin Masters. It's one of those things where like sometimes prequel content can kind of like just like ruin things for you, and they kind of do, but I'll keep moving forward. Let's move on to the monster of the week, which is Wolfgang. Many of the Sporix beasts have had very stereotypical accents. I'm surprised that Wolfgang, which is a very common German name, Wolfgang, he didn't have a German accent. What I did find interesting, and if you've watched Real Soldier, I totally understand why they did this, but they changed his ability. Because in Real Soldier, he's called Cerberus Minosaur. In that show, his bite is poisonous, and if he bites you, you're basically gonna die. You suffer imminent death. So in Power Rangers Dino Fury, when Wolfgang howls, it basically has the ability to break things apart, and he does this to the Megazord in the beginning of the episode, which sets a good precedent of how powerful that roar is. And then he does it again on the boost sleeves and dismantles their boost sleeves. So then I was thinking, like, if he just keeps roaring at you, can he demorph you? And then if he could demorph you, can he derobe you? There's something wrong with me, I'm sorry. Mick's contribution to the episode in regard to fighting the monster is he creates a no howl drop, which looks like a gigantic cough drop, and he feeds it to Wolfgang, who just acceptingly takes it, and it ruins his roar, so he can't use his roar to take things apart anymore. So the moral of the story being being, if you're fighting a monster wolf, just feed it something that's part of your strategic plan. Because the traditional pre-fight donut worked swimmingly against Toka and Razor. Although Wolfgang is the official monster of the week, this was very much a Boomtower episode. And like I was talking about in my last video, I was excited that Boomtower was finally getting some respect on his name and he was seen as a threatening villain. He's destroyed in this episode, so there it is. He was just getting good, and, well, he's gone now. Something to note about Boomtower's last words is his final words incorporate, "Here comes the boom," and "ready or not." So now I'm just picturing Boomtower, whenever he has some downtime, he's just got some AirPods in, and he's listening to POD. Now the Mecha Formation. This was really cool, because we have all the Zords now. So since we found the Stego Spike Zord, they created the Dino Fury Megazord Warrior Formation, which is basically all of them all together. And I liked a few different parts about this. The first one is, since all of the Zords are now together, every one of the Rangers inside of the cockpit can use their Zord individually. And they show that. It's pretty cool how they do that. The other thing that I really liked was the Dino Mega Slash. And what happens is you see like translucent, almost holographic versions of all of the Dino Fury Megazords, where it like emphasizes specific Zords, you know, that we saw in the previous episodes. And they all attack one by one. It reminds me very much of Gokai Silver's 6 Ranger attacks in Gokaiger. I always love stuff like that. Another one that I'm thinking of, which is a real far reach, is at the end of Outlaw Star, when they're at the Galactic Ley Line. Who watched Outlaw Star? Any Toonami folks out there? Come on. So now, things that I thought were funny. The first one is something that I thought was funny originally when I was watching Ryusoulger, and that is the actual Mecha Formation itself, because the Stego Spike Zord basically becomes, you know, like 80s Madonna bra, or Rita Repulsa's bra. And they even do an attack, like the Black Ranger, you know, uses his Zord while they're all formed together. And they basically just like push their breasts at the monster. I thought the last scene when they're eating the failed prototypes of the No Howl drops, I thought that was funny because it reminded me of one of my favorite scenes in the Harry Potter films, when you see, you know, our main cast of Gryffindor boys, I should say, are in the Gryffindor common room, and they're eating some type of, it might be like a jelly bean or candy, and they're all making animal noises. That's one of my favorite scenes in all the Harry Potter movies, just because I think it really represents, you know, like being a kid. I also chuckled a little bit. I also kind of groaned a little bit when Wolfgang says, "I'll show you furry power." I don't know if I want to see that. And then another one of his lines is, "You're right, I'm a bad doggy." I don't know. Listen, I just picture that kind of creepy, pretty boy anime voice saying those lines. "I'll show you furry power." Think like James from Team Rocket. "You're right, I'm a bad doggy." The last one I'll mention is, I don't know why I thought this was so funny. I think a lot of Izzy's lines are funny. She's good at delivering one-liners. I like when she calls Boomtower the castle, because I never realized it, because it's very obvious, but I've never realized that he looks like a giant walking castle. I just thought that was funny. Alright, so let's talk about these two theories. The first one is, it's almost kind of obvious. I don't even want to call it a theory. We'll call it a theory. And that's what the Nexus Prism was looking for. Why did it arrive? Why did it show up? Well, at the end of the episode, we see it leaving the water, and then it, you know, just like flies into the sky. Why was it in the water? Well, in Kishiru Sentai Ryusoulger, the Gold Ranger actually lived underwater with his sister. His name is Kanolo, by the way, if you don't know that. And his Zord and his dinosaur are based on the Mosasaur, the Mosasaurus, which is an aquatic, prehistoric dinosaur. So if you recently just watched Hasbro Fan Fest, we know that the Gold Ranger actor was announced. Jordan Veidt is going to be playing, I think his name is Ion, if I'm pronouncing that right, Ion. And if you follow him on TikTok, he already said that he's from RAFCON, so we know that he's from RAFCON. I don't know if he's one of the knights, but we know that he's from RAFCON. So I think it's pretty obvious when you put all of that stuff together, the Nexus Prism was underwater either trying to awake or find something Gold Ranger related, whether it's Ion himself or the Zord, something like that, because we know he's coming. So now the next theory is the other cliffhanger at the end of the episode, and that is Void Knight's big reveal. And guys, if you watch my last video, which I just posted, about episode 7, I was saying that I was not really happy with, oh no, it was episode 6 actually, I'm so sorry. I was not really happy with what they were doing with Void Knight's character, because Guy Zorg in Real Soldier is what I thought a more compelling character. We just found out something about Void Knight's past, or his life before the show, and I think it gave so much context to what his motivations are that I'm super excited to learn what's going to happen. So if you haven't watched the episode, again, this is spoiler heavy, so I hope that you watched it. There's that scene where Void Knight goes into his secret room, and he has a woman in a tank that he's, I guess, trying to keep alive, and he's using the Sporix to bring her back to life, and he calls her my love. Void Knight is just a big softie. So this obviously reminds me very much of Mr. Freeze from the DC universe. I mean, that's basically what he was trying to do, right? Do anything you have to, whether it's commit crimes or hurt other people to bring the person you love back to life. So now when it comes to the whole theory aspect of it, in Real Soldier, Guy Zorg, who is Void Knight, the armor itself is evil. The person inside it isn't. It kind of poisons you, if you will. They call it a sentient armor. So it takes you over. I almost feel like, and if they don't do this, I'll understand, but I think they should go in this direction. It would be amazing if whoever Void Knight is inside the armor, if in his pursuit, his journey and trying to bring his love back to life, he was seeking out a power source or a way that he can, do what he needed to do, and he came across the armor to collect the Sporix or fight the Sporix or whatever he wanted, and it's poisoning him. And he's actually a good guy on the inside. I think that would be really cool. To go one step further, I think it would also be very cool if it was someone from Ravcon. And so that's the theoretical idea. Let me know what you think about that, or if you have something similar or something better, leave it in the comments. I don't know what the 8001X thing means on her shirt or whatever she's wearing. I don't know if it's relevant. It probably isn't. But now the other thing I want you to leave in the comments, and this is the thing that I was kind of left with at the end of the episode. How far would you go to bring the love of your life, a loved one, a family member, someone who matters a lot to you, back into existence? If it was possible, how far would you go? So those are my thoughts and theories about the mid-season finale of Power Rangers Dino Fury. I would love to hear your opinions. I think this was a really big step up, like a complete rocket to the moon, if you will. Now that there is a little bit of a break, and we're not going to get some Power Rangers Dino Fury episodes, I'm going to go back and start doing my Zenkaiger stuff, so if you're a Super Sentai fan and you wanted to see that stuff, it's coming, I promise. Also, I never plug this because I never know, how interested you guys will be in this, but I have another channel, if you guys didn't know. It's called Geek Level Asian Tech, and I do tech reviews. I'm mostly into mechanical keyboards. If you're like a gamer, you might be interested in that, but I'm hoping to do some more things. It's mostly going to be keyboards, but every once in a while I'll do other things as well. And if you'd like to go check that out, give me a subscribe over there. Highly appreciate it. Speaking of subscriptions, don't forget to subscribe to this channel itself. Make sure to follow me on social media. And guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I really can't wait to hear your theories on Void Knight and the Nexus Prism, the Gold Ranger, and everything coming up. And be well. May the power protect you.